How's this for a name? Anton Johannes Gerrit Corbin von Willenswaard. Are you kidding me, right? That is a name. One more time. Anton Johannes Gerrit Corbin von Willenswaard. I apologize if I'm butchering the pronunciation. It's a Dutch name, and I assume you've never heard the name. You may have heard Anton Corbin. And if you're at least 30, I'd say, or into music at all, you most likely have seen his work. He has taken some iconic photographs of everybody, from Miles Davis to David Bowie, Morrissey, Kurt Cobain, Keith Richards, Mick Jagger, Prince, PJ Harvey, just to name a few. I mean, this man has taken everyone's photos. And they always have this certain Anton Corbin vibe. They're a little moody, they're a little dark, they're a little somber. But maybe more importantly, Anton was the creative director for two huge bands, especially if you're an 80s kid, early 90s. Depeche Mode, my favorite band ever. I love Depeche Mode. And U2. That's right. So, fun little story about U2 and Anton. They went down to Southern California at Anton's recommendation for some pictures before their new album coming out called Desert Songs. And the story goes that Anton was telling Bono about a tree he wanted to take pictures of the next day. Well, Anton convinced Bono somehow of the amazingness of this tree, and the next morning, Bono came down and said, new name for the album, The Joshua Tree. So if you're a Joshua Tree fan, you have Anton to thank, and you didn't even know it. Another fun story, the iconic photograph of the band with the Joshua Tree in the background. The story goes Anton was trying out a new lens he hadn't used before, and he didn't realize it until he got home and developed the negatives. But the band was blurred, and the Joshua Tree was in perfect focus. And at first he thought, oh no, I've ruined everything. And then the more he thought about it, given the nature of the album and what he knew of the band, he thought it was a perfect photo. So this is Anton, right? I love this guy. And I really fell in love with him through Depeche Mode because, like I said, Depeche Mode was my band. 1991, Violator comes out. I'm a junior in high school. I'm working at Red Robin. I'm going to school. I pop this little cassette tape in my red Nissan truck, and it doesn't come out for a year. I mean, it is over and over and over I'm playing Depeche Mode because Depeche Mode got me. They got what I was feeling. And a lot of people call Depeche Mode depressed mode. Okay, these are people who do not know what they're talking about. They definitely are not fans. The fans of Depeche Mode, I just saw a documentary, Spirits in the Forest. The fans of Depeche Mode get it. They get that life is dark and moody, but at the end of the day, we are alive and we're breathing. And there's some kind of goodness in acknowledging all of these emotions, and it somehow enhances life. See, that is what I'm talking about with Depeche Mode. They get that life is sometimes dark and somber and moody, but it's in acknowledging that and the fact that we're breathing and we're alive. That is where life finds its life. And Depeche Mode got it in their lyrics, in their melodies. And I think Anton got it in their look. Because if you see Anton's pictures, they're always black and white. They're always a little grainy. They're always a little out of focus. There's this dark vibe to them. And that's on purpose. Anton says this, I feel the imperfection is much closer to how life is than perfection. Hear that one more time. I feel the imperfection is much closer to life than perfection. Is that not so true? He also says this, because I like black and white, I already passed the threshold of realism in that sense. The blurriness and the grain that I use, for me, is so close to life. I find things that are very static and very sharp and very well lit and all that. It's not how I experience life. Oof, I love this guy. So good. Okay, one more time. I find things that are very static and very well lit and sharp and all that. It's not how I experience life. That is why I loved Depeche Mode. That is why I loved Anton and finding his name on the inside of the CD book and finding everything I could about him. Because that's how I felt about life. And it was encaptured in everything that they did. I was experiencing life. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't sharp and well lit. It was a little grainy, a little black and white. and a little blurry and a little out of focus. A couple months ago, I did a survey and I got an overwhelming response. Thank you if you participated. And there's a lot of things that were really interesting about it. But one of my maybe most interesting questions, or the one I wanted to find the answer to at least, was if you could pick one word, and I provided a list, that you think would most help the world, what would it be? Coming in, number one was love. No shock, right? Love, love, love. We're indoctrinated with how love will change everything, and love is the basis of everything. And I get it, and it's true. It's beautiful. Compassion, kindness, empathy was up there. But coming in at 2.7%, way down the list, was the word wonder. And that surprised me. I thought wonder should be a lot higher. In fact, as I dive more into the word wonder, I think wonder is number one. Yeah, I think wonder is the number one word that the world is missing. So here's the cool thing about wonder. First of all, it's a noun and a verb. So it's got a lot of different meaning to it. It can go a lot of different ways. Wonder can mean wow, whoa, or just a sense of awe, right? I mean, wonder can be the sunset in Hawaii. Wonder can be the top of a mountain with the snow and the view and just wow. Wonder can be a baby walking for the first time, or a baby being born. I mean, it's just, you don't know what to do. You're overwhelmed with something, and we call that something wonder. But there's also this other side of wonder, more of the verb side, more of the I wonder. I wonder if that's true. I wonder if this is true. I wonder if this is actually more true than that. I wonder if that is this. I wonder if what that person is saying is true. I wonder if we took this and came at it from this side and went over here and flipped it around. I wonder what we would find. There's this other part of wonder. So yeah, there's the whoa, the wow, the awe, but there's also the curiosity and the sense of movement and sometimes doubt and questioning and being secure enough to wonder if what we think is true isn't. So there's a lot of definitions to wonder, but I've kind of summarized it this way. Wonder is the gratefulness for humility. Because when we're watching that sunset, I mean, there is an overwhelming sense of humility that we can't deny. I mean, it's what is happening. We're on this planet in the middle of space, and this star is setting just right where it sends all these colors. That color is a weird thing in itself. And I'm sitting here being moved by this thing that is happening in this planet. And man, I'm so small. And man, am I grateful for it. It's really cool to feel this small. And there's also this sense of, I wonder if this could be that way, requiring some humility. Because I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if the way I was raised is altogether true. And so there's this aspect of, I may not be right. And wow, that's a cool feeling. Some philosophers will go so far to say that if humanity lost curiosity or wonder, we wouldn't be a species, or we wouldn't be the humans that we know ourselves to be. Imagine knowing the answer to everything. It's not quite life. But I get the hesitancy towards wonder, because there's another reason I love Depeche Mode. Martin Gore, the lead singer-songwriter, said he can't help but dabble in religion and sex. And for a high school boy growing up, that meant the world to me, and I really mean that. There was this beautiful way that Depeche Mode wove itself lyrically through the world of spirituality and higher purpose and humanity and hormones and animalistic urges. And it all kind of wound itself together with a little bit of blurriness and graininess and out of focus and black and white and moody way that just hit me right. But there's another reason I loved it, and that is because I can't help but dabble in religion sometimes too. I grew up in it, I swam in it, I kind of despise it now, but it's still a part of who I was and what formed me. And there's this thing about wonder that I don't like that religion did. See, religion seemed to love the first kind of wonder, the sunset wonder, and you can have a wonderful life, and everything can be wonderful. But it didn't like the second kind. I wonder if there is a God. I wonder why, if there is a God, God would do this. I wonder why this Bible doesn't make any sense. I wonder if everything we've been taught is a complete lie made up by some human 2,000, 3,000 years ago. Whoa. No, let's go back to the sunsets and the mountaintops, and you can have a wonderful life. We don't go so much toward the wonder if this is true. And even when you're at the sunset, the wonder had this kind of like rainbow, Skittles, unicorn, puppy dog, like everything is perfect kind of vibe to it. It always felt, to quote Anton, it wasn't like life to me. That's not what wonder is. It's not ever that perfect. We don't really want perfect. And it was always presented as wonderful, perfect life. But that's not what I experienced. So there's another word I love, and this word also works as a noun and a verb, and it's grit. Because wonder requires grit, to me, to be real. So even that sunset sitting on the beach in Hawaii, there's some grit to it. Sometimes literal grit, just sand in my swimsuit, or sand in my skin rubbed in by all the sunscreen I've had on all day. Or sometimes just that metaphorical grit of exhaustion of being beat down by the sun all day, or just tired, or just that beach grit. I don't know. It just, you can feel it, right? If you've ever seen that. And yet, when that sun sets, there's that wonder. And it's almost as though it's even better because of the grit. It's like, I've earned this, or this isn't perfect, but wow and whoa. And the other kind of wonder takes another kind of grit, right? To ask yourself, or to be willing to say, maybe what I think I know, I don't know, requires some effort and determination and doubt and the ability to move forward. Because it's really safe and secure, and sometimes a good feeling to be over here in the world of I know everything and I know all the answers. Or at least I'm going to pretend to. And that's really nice. But it requires something else, uncomfortable, to step out of that and say, I wonder if this maybe isn't what I thought it was. And so wonder with grit is what I think the world needs more than anything else. Because when the world has wonder, it has so many other things. It has science. Again, science is the ability to say, I wonder if what we think we know, we don't know, and let's try and prove that we don't know it, or let's try and prove something else that we don't even know that we don't know. That is the basis of science. If there was no wonder, there is no science. If there is no wonder, there is no creativity. If there is no wonder, there is no art. If there is no wonder, there is no evolution. If there is no wonder, I argue there is no love. And there is no empathy, and there is no kindness, because there's no ability to wonder what it would like to be in their shoes. And to be awed and whoa, I didn't realize what you've done with the kind of life you've had. And when we lose wonder, we start to let in hate and violence and judgment and criticism, because we know everything. And so we can hate that person, we can judge that person, we can dehumanize them because they aren't the person we are, because we know who we are and we know who they are. You see, it all comes down to wonder with grit. Just like Depeche Mode, just like Anton always talked about. This is the way I experience life. This is the way I experience wonder. It's a little blurry. It's a little black and white. It's a little grainy. It's a little dark and moody and somber sometimes. But it's in acknowledging all of those things that we enhance life and wonder. So, find some wonder. Find some wow, some whoa, some awe, and don't be afraid of the grit that comes with it. And also find some wonder of, I wonder if that's true, and keep on with grit, pushing towards a new horizon. Because that, I would think, is what the world needs. And too many of us have been told not to wonder, and so we don't wonder anymore. And too many of us have grown up in a religion, or we've had shame voices that tell us not to wonder. And too many of us are living this repetitive, monotonous life full of regulations and liturgies and rituals that force us not to wonder. And some of us have wonder and we just want more of it. So find it and spread it and give it to others. And that's what I hope to do on a somewhat regular basis. And that's why we're calling this page lightslikeus.com/wonder. Because I feel like I need more wonder, I feel like you need more wonder, and I feel like the world needs more wonder. But wonder, Anton Corbin, Depeche Mode, grit style.